The campaign office was nothing more than a cramped, uneven room above a discount store, but to Tascha Van Auken, it felt like the center of the universe. The floor creaked, the heater rattled, and the lights flickered whenever someone used the microwave downstairs. Still, she set her laptop on a wobbly folding table, rolled up her sleeves, and told herself that this was where it would all begin. Her candidate, Mamdani, was passionate and sincere, the kind of person who didn't rehearse speeches but spoke straight from the heart. But passion alone didn't win elections. People did. And it was Tascha's job to find those people, inspire them, organize them, and give them a reason to show up on election day. Every morning she arrived before sunrise, the streets still empty except for delivery trucks and bakery vans. She brewed cheap coffee, opened the windows to let the cold air in, and stared at the map pinned to the wall. District lines, building clusters, voter density. All of it mattered. She traced her finger across neighborhoods that had been ignored for years, places where political promises were as fragile as the buildings themselves. Her volunteers arrived slowly, yawning, shivering, clutching half-eaten breakfast sandwiches. Some were students skipping morning classes. Some were immigrants balancing 2 jobs. Some were activists who'd been disappointed too many times but still came anyway because hope was a habit they couldn't break. Tascha greeted each of them like they were joining a mission, not just a campaign. She trained them in pairs. She taught them how to knock gently, how to step back so people felt safe opening the door, how to explain issues in plain language instead of political jargon. She drilled them on listening, truly listening, because a voter who feels heard becomes someone who believes they matter. Door by door, floor by floor, they worked their way through crowded buildings where the hallways smelled of old paint and forgotten promises. Some doors slammed in their faces. Some people argued. Some just stared blankly, too tired from life to care about politics. But then there were moments, small moments that made everything worth it. A cab driver who'd never voted before but said he would, because you came all the way to the 5th floor to talk to me. A single mother who said she didn't trust politicians but trusted the volunteers because they were kids from the neighborhood. A retired nurse who cried as she talked about losing her benefits and held Tascha's hands like she was holding the last threads of hope. Tascha wrote everything down. Every story became a data point, and every data point became a strategy. Her nights were long, illuminated by the bluish glow of her laptop as she sorted the information, adjusting routes, shifting priorities, building a plan that was constantly evolving with every new knock. But the campaign was not without storms. Their opponent launched negative ads, distorting Mamdani's positions and spreading fear. Donations dried up for a while. 2 key volunteers quit after a public argument. And Tascha, who never complained, sometimes found herself sitting alone in the office at midnight, staring at the ceiling, asking herself if she was pushing too hard or expecting too much. Then one evening, drenched in rain and exhausted from a 14-hour day, she knocked on a door in an old 6-story walk-up. A frail woman opened it, leaning on her cane. She studied Tascha for a few seconds and then said softly, "You look tired, child. Come in for a moment." Tascha stepped inside, unsure what to expect. The woman handed her a warm towel, made her sit, and said, "I've lived here 30 years. No candidate ever came here. No one cared how we lived. But you came in the rain. That means something. I'll vote for your candidate. And I'll tell my neighbors too." When Tascha walked out, the rain felt different. No longer heavy, no longer cold. She smiled for the first time in days. That small spark of encouragement reignited the fire inside her. And the very next morning, she returned to the office with a renewed confidence that spread to everyone around her. Weeks passed, and what had started as a small group transformed into a powerful force. There were now dozens of volunteers knocking doors across the district. There were community meetings, rallies in parking lots, sign-making nights filled with laughter, and late-night planning sessions that felt more like family gatherings than work. Election day finally arrived with a mixture of nerves and excitement. The air buzzed. Volunteers lined up outside polling stations with clipboards and smiles, offering assistance, answering questions, guiding the elderly. Tascha moved from location to location, her phone glued to her hand, solving problems, sending messages, encouraging everyone, even hugging some of the volunteers who broke down from stress. As the sun set, the campaign office filled like a balloon ready to burst. Everyone watched the numbers appear on the big screen, one precinct at a time. Each update was followed by gasps, murmurs, or cheers. Tascha stood at the back, almost afraid to hope too much. Then the final count came in. A moment of silence. Then an eruption of joy so loud it shook the old floorboards. People jumped, cried, laughed, and shouted Mamdani's name. Someone lifted Tascha off the ground without warning. She covered her face, laughing and crying at the same time. All the exhaustion dissolved in a single moment of triumph. When Mamdani gave his victory speech, he didn't speak like a winner addressing supporters. He spoke like a neighbor addressing family. And when he thanked Tascha, calling her the backbone of the campaign, she felt her knees go weak. Later that night, long after the celebration ended, she stepped outside the community center. The streets were quiet again, the same way they had been the night everything began. She looked up at the sky, and a single bright star peeked through the city glow. It reminded her of the people she'd met, the stories she'd heard, the doors she'd knocked on, and all the moments when hope looked small but shone anyway. Tascha inhaled deeply, letting the cold air fill her chest. She didn't know what the future held, but she knew one thing with absolute certainty. When people come together, truly come together, nothing is impossible.